DiJonai Carrington must have taken one look at the final buzzer and thought, perfect time to throw hands. Because clearly, 4 full quarters of basketball just weren't enough cardio for her. No, she needed a post-game bonus round where Satou Sabally played the unfortunate role of target practice. It's disgusting what's going on with her. You guys need to put a stop to this because it is going too far. She was out there hacking again versus Phoenix today. And not only was she out there hacking and doing all of that stuff, let's look at her trying to interrupt the Phoenix Mercury's huddle and start a fight with Satou Sabally and Mercury players. Let's look at this nonsense. You guys need to put a stop to this. Y'all need to put a stop. And Cathy Engelbert, at this point, she's running the league with the intensity of a suburban book club moderator. Someone toss her a rule book, a whistle, and maybe a reality check. This isn't just another WNBA dust-up. It's a full-blown chaos casserole. And yes, it's as spicy as it sounds. Grab your popcorn and buckle your seatbelt. It's about to get gloriously unhinged. And you think it stops there? Think again. The real question here isn't just what happened, but how is this still happening? It's 2025, and we're watching fully grown, fully paid professionals throwing toddler tantrums with better footwork than their layups. Meanwhile, Cathy's off in her happy place, probably sipping organic chamomile from a mug that says, breathe. Ma'am, you're not leading yoga in the park. You're running a professional sports league that looks more like a traveling fight club every week. Are we watching elite athletes or an unlicensed episode of Bad Girls Club Basketball Edition? In drama, yet again in another basketball game. At this time, it's with a top-notch player, man. Her and Satou Sabally had a powerful exchange after this game, and you already know Finn has put the beast on Dallas. Dallas, one of the worst teams in the league. This should come as no surprise, bro. But one thing I can tell you is DiJonai Carrington's behavior is starting to look a little spooky, bro. At this point, bro, something has to be done. Let's zoom in on Carrington for a second, because this woman has officially detached from the plot. She's not just setting screens, she's setting up side quests. DiJonai's out here turning game time into primetime action scenes, throwing limbs around like she just came from a Jackie Chan boot camp. 1 second she's defending a shot, the next she's pulling off spin kicks that belong in an action movie trailer. And post-game, it's less good game, and more choose your fighter. Honestly, every handshake line now feels like it should come with a trigger warning. Now here's the kicker that really seals the deal. Carrington isn't just chaotic. She's calculated. This isn't some got caught in the heat of the moment story. No, she's got a list. She knows exactly who she's picking fights with, and spoiler alert, it's never the enforcers. DiJonai Carrington only rolls up on players she's convinced won't swing back. Try pulling that mess on Ajah Wilson or Brittany Griner, and you'd get humbled faster than a G League contract. This is the basketball equivalent of slapping the kid with glasses because you know they won't retaliate. It's not toughness. It's a highlight reel of cowardice disguised as confidence. And yeah, that's what makes it stink. The here, bro. Get her out of here, man. Get her out of here. Why is she even up there? Get her out of here. DiJonai Carrington, you have done enough. WNBA. Are you going to step in? Remember the last time I said, since the refs won't handle her doing all these flagrants, somebody will have to step up and fight. Now we're after the game and she's approaching someone to fight. She's approaching someone hostile. You're like, you too hostile. You just got popped. Y'all have lost 10 games. You have won 1 game. Get your ass to the locker room. Meanwhile, Cathy Engelbert is probably deep in a Google Doc labeled Professionalism Guidelines, typing with the urgency of a snail on vacation. While Carrington is reinventing the WNBA as a contact sport with no rules, Cathy's probably workshopping her next TED Talk about poise. Lady, you don't need a think tank. You need a security detail and maybe a taser gun at this point. What's happening on that court isn't a display of competitive spirit. It's straight up WWE with better sneakers. So let's paint the picture. Final buzzer sounds. Everyone's exhausted, probably craving a Gatorade and some ice packs. But instead of sportsmanship, Carrington decides to cue up her Mortal Kombat soundtrack. Satou Sabally? She's barely finished tying her laces when DiJonai starts crouching like she's about to launch into a flying crane kick. The crowd's in stunned silence. Security is either asleep or hypnotized. And Engelbert, still missing in action, likely scrolling through meditation podcasts. Meanwhile, DiJonai is single-handedly turning the WNBA into a crossover between Sparta and Days of Our Lives. Else happened last night. DiJonai Carrington said, "Oh, what? Paige Beckers is going to get all this shine after her amazing game. Paige Beckers is going to get all this publicity after this amazing game. How do I take the spotlight off my teammate, act like a child, and have everybody's eyes on me?" And let's get real. This isn't just adrenaline. This is unchecked aggression with a whistle somewhere in the vicinity. Every time the league fails to clamp down on this with meaningful consequences, it sends the message, go ahead, suplex someone mid-play. Just make sure to smile for your fine receipt and retweet our vaguely inspirational graphic later. Where are the suspensions, the statements that actually mean something? Carrington is out here composing a full fight montage while Kathy color-codes her planner. She's not competing, she's clobbering. Kathy Engelbert is giving all the commanding presence of a sub trying to wrangle a room full of sugar-crazed 8th graders on the last day of school. Players are running wild, elbows flying, wigs in danger, and Kathy? She's scribbling imaginary detention slips on a clipboard that might as well be a prop from a local theater production. And please don't insult our intelligence by calling this passion. Diving for a loose ball is passion. Playing through a torn ankle ligament with your face covered in sweat and pride, that's passion. What DiJonai Carrington is doing? That's less passion, more demolition. Derby meets emotional crisis. She's yanking hair like she's competing in a blindfolded mannequin makeover challenge. If intensity means roundhouse kicks during the handshake line, then maybe we're watching the wrong sport. Fritz security let that go on for so long. How does WNBA security not usher them off of the floor? How are y'all allowing them to stay on the floor that long when you see it's becoming hostile? Especially with her reputation. Gal's supposed to get them off the floor. Get them off the floor. You don't see the other team when Minnesota plays at home, right? When Minnesota plays at home and after the game, they do their dance step thing, whatever it is they do. You don't see the other team out there. No, the other team beat it. They just smacked y'all. Skate, get out of here, skedaddles, have a safe flight home. You'll see the other team out there when the minute's like, come on, y'all lost, y'all been losing. But seriously, if Kathy doesn't get a grip and fast, the WNBA is going to shift from rising league with stars and promise to viewer discretion advised. It won't be remembered for elite playmaking or growing visibility. It'll be remembered as the place where your ACL isn't the only thing in danger. Your dignity might get sucker punched too. The time for delicate warnings and therapeutic emails is over. If Carrington drops another post-game scuffle like she's hosting a low-budget fight night and the league once again responds with a Hallmark tweet, we're going to start wondering if Kathy's commissioner duties are being handled from a cave somewhere in the Pacific with no signal and a "Do Not Disturb" sign hanging on the rock. Repercussions aren't optional anymore, they're the bare minimum. Because what's at risk isn't just one team's reputation, it's the entire league's trajectory. The WNBA is finally in the spotlight, and if that spotlight keeps catching her throwing temper tantrums like she's trying to get on an MTV reboot, it's going to backfire. This isn't a scripted drama. This is supposed to be professional sports. But Carrington walks away from these chaos clouds like she's a soap opera villain leaving the scene of her 17th fire. Slow-mo strut, wind in her braids, leaving destruction and unpaid fines behind. The WNBA needs to step in and solve this nonsense, man. Y'all are allowing this girl to run around like a menace. And like I said, Satou, we all know, Satou kind of soft. It is what it is. Like Satou ain't with all that. She know who to pick and choose to play these games with. She wouldn't have, you see Alyssa Thomas was stopping it. She wouldn't have did, that wolfish she was doing with Satou, she would never do that with Alyssa Thomas who was there. She wouldn't do that. She wouldn't do that at all. At all. Y'all got popped by 13 points. You guys are 1 in 10. And now, because no one wants to enforce rules or act like adults, we've got a domino effect spiraling out of control. WNBA games are starting to look like gladiator exhibitions, sprinkled with the occasional free throw. It's turning into a contact sport of chaos, a full-body contest of who can implode the fastest on national television. Forget plays and strategy. Some of these players look like they're out there trying to collect highlight reels of violence. This isn't team spirit, it's self-sabotage with a six-figure salary. And the wildest part? It's working. They're going viral, not for buzzer beaters or slick assists, but for side-eye beef, body checks, and post-whistle throwdowns. At this rate, ESPN's going to need a warning label before airing WNBA coverage. Viewer discretion advised. This game contains scenes of hair pulling, accidental karate, and potential commissioner negligence. Might as well schedule it back-to-back with Real Housewives of Atlanta and call it Reality Sports Hour, clearly allowing her to bully, attack, say whatever, do whatever she want to any damn players. There is no disciplinary actions. There is no nothing with DiJonai Carrington, bro. I mean, this is getting out of hand, dog. And it's just so crazy to me that this is yet another week. I mean, well, not even a week. Another game. And we have a DiJonai Carrington situation, bro. A whole damn situation, bro. But let's take a second and remember who's at the center of all this madness. Caitlin Clark. The very player Carrington decided to target like it was open season last year. Caitlin brought new eyeballs, new sponsors, national headlines, and, for the first time in years, a legitimate jolt of electricity to the league. She didn't just show up to play. She showed up to shift culture. People who hadn't watched a WNBA game since 2002 were tuning in because of her. She had everyone talking. And what did some players decide to do with that precious moment of attention? Use it as an opening scene for their next meltdown montage. Apparently, they thought the best way to capitalize on rising relevance was to treat the game like an episode of Survivor Elbow Island. It's mind-blowingly self-destructive. You've got a generational star, someone who could carry the league on her shoulders if the league didn't keep trying to trip her. Instead of celebrating her presence, building around her, or maybe just protecting her from cheap shots and cheap narratives, you've got a few players too busy auditioning for the title of WNBA's Queen of Chaos. Like seriously, do they not understand what's at stake here? She's the entire brand facelift in human form. She's the reason the games are selling out and why networks suddenly care. She's not here to get steamrolled every night for someone else's ego trip, and if this nonsense continues, don't be surprised when she looks across the ocean and sees dollar signs and peace signs coming from Europe. At some point, she's going to realize she doesn't need to keep getting checked like a coat at a party just to earn her stripes. Because let's not lie to ourselves. The WNBA is still climbing. It doesn't have the luxury of cannibalizing its own momentum. Caitlin Clark isn't just a name on a jersey. She's the engine, the billboard, the ratings bump, the ticket spike, the merch wave. And right now the league is acting like she's just another sophomore to be hazed. Spoiler, she's not. She's the golden goose, and the way some of these players are treating her, it's like they're prepping her for the rotisserie. And what's even worse, not a single meaningful intervention. Not from Kathy, not from the league. No serious fines. No, this won't fly anymore speeches. Just a PR intern sending out a cryptic tweet about sportsmanship and hoping we forget the headlines by Tuesday. No one's telling Carrington, maybe channel that energy into, I don't know, a jump shot? Instead, the message is loud and clear. Act up, throw hands, trend briefly, rinse, repeat. Caitlin didn't join the league to become a human tackling dummy for other players' unresolved feelings. And if you think she'll keep showing up without respect or protection, you're in for a very quiet, very awkward future. So right here, just Satou Sabally, right? So Satou Sabally is in Dallas. Now, we all know she's to play for Dallas. So it wasn't a welcome back. DiJonai Carrington immediately put our hands up to the camera. Now this clip, like this scene right here, is going viral everywhere. A DiJonai Carrington putting her hand up to the camera, really telling the camera she don't want nothing to do with him, bro. So if the WNBA wants to ride this wave instead of being crushed by it, they need to stop tiptoeing and start leading. That means real punishment for real nonsense. That means accountability that doesn't come with a smiley face. That means reminding Carrington and anyone else trying to turn the league into a demolition derby that you don't build a brand by wrecking your teammates and trampling your star. You build it by playing like it matters, like you care, like you want to be more than just a footnote in Caitlin Clark's highlight reel. Right now, too many players are chasing headlines instead of history, and Kathy Engelbert is dangerously close to becoming the commissioner of calamity. Because this isn't grit, it's insecurity.